When you add value, you will have a forever relationship and not a transactional relationship. When you switch the landscape of how can I serve them, trust me, God, the creator of the universe, will look after you always. Never give with the expectation of receiving from someone, but just give without the expectation. And I tell you, you will always be rewarded and blessed with so much more. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee and a Good Vibe. How are you doing today on this beautiful day, wherever you are at? Currently in New York City, we are behind the mic, we are hanging out, we are recording some amazing solo podcasts for you guys, which is something I get so passionate about because I can go all in on topics that I'm genuinely very interested in speaking on and topics that I know will serve. Because I'm also being super mindful when I choose a type of topic I want to go all in on for the podcast. And today, I want to talk about something that is a question also that I get asked a lot, and I think it's the key to life. I think this whole skill, trait, way of being is going to be such a game changer to constantly instill and to constantly just be doing in your life. Because being someone who has been this way my whole life, I've seen the value of it. I've seen the value of this from, creating events and why I'm so passionate about the events that we're building for Coffee and a Good Vibe and my whole business. And that is the topic of relationships and connecting. So I like to say connecting. Some people like to say, oh, it's networking. But I truly think it's the art of connecting because, I have 5 particular things that are the things that you should keep in mind, master when it comes to being a master of making abundant connections for your life. And the reason why I'm passionate about this topic of connecting, of always being someone who is connecting, is because you never truly know what relationship could potentially change your life. You never know when you're going to meet someone who could change your life. And that's what I love about life and just the synchronicity and abundance and amazing opportunities that it brings is because you could be walking down the street and you can feel like a little inkling to go in a cafe or make a right instead of a left. And you can bump into someone who can open up a new door or intro you to something that opens up a door that changes the trajectory of your life or connects you to someone or invites you to something that then you go to that and it opens up a whole can of worms and a whole new thing that puts you on a new trajectory that is on the path to where you're meant to be. So never block your blessings and always be someone who is connecting. And in this episode, I want to go all in on how I've built such a crazy Rolodex of relationships from nothing. For people who don't know, I moved to LA when I was 22 from Canada. I'm from Mississauga, Ontario, which is outside Toronto, which a lot of people know Toronto. And I moved to LA with nothing, no family, no bank account, no money, no business, no brand. And yeah, I also was going through the process of getting a visa. So it was just a wild ride. And moving to LA and the States in general with nothing and building up every relationship that I have. And I swear people have this joke with me that I know more people in LA and New York, the 2 cities that I basically hop between, than people who live here their whole life. And I'm only saying that, it's not to brag at all. It's just because I want to go all in on this topic and I want to tell you guys, these 5 principles that I live by have helped me build such abundant relationships for my life that are relationships that are actually relationships. They're not just me just trying to build a certain like amount of relationships to have them. No, they're warm relationships where these people and I are like, we can drop in. They're actual homies and friends, and beautiful things birth from them on a business level, on a personal level. And I want to share it all on this podcast. So also the value of all these relationships, it's crazy because I feel like being in PR, you're like a publicist, you are a PR firm and it's all based off of your relationships. You know, the relationships that I've cultivated have scaled my agency so much, and it's just wild to see the value of it play out. Because when I started my business, it was heavy digital marketing. And then I think over the years, I always say like, oh, PR chose me because I built these insane relationships, and I have like this business strategy on how I scale a business around all these amazing relationships. And it's wild to me how like it's led me to my career path. And it's also led me to wanting to scale this podcast further, and why I even started this podcast in the first place, because I truly just love connecting with new people, and skyrocket that into 2021 when we started doing our live events. Basically, they're events where I wanted to bring together people from all walks of life, people who can all add value to one another, and everyone could come together, and I can combine my like PR events background and make these event experiences such cool experiences that people enjoy and they want to come to, and they have all the cool like brands that are activating and food and drinks and just good vibes. It's kind of what catapulted the events, because I just built all these relationships and I wanted to bring that power of my network together. And I've seen so much value play out with it, because right now I literally don't think I can do enough of these events, because people are always like, Ayesha, when is the next one? And how can I come to the next one? And can you do one in my city? And the answer is yes to all of that. But it's all because of relationships and being someone who loves to connect with people. So if you are listening and you are wanting to, you know, move to somewhere new or just build new relationships for your life, I want to share my 5 principles on this, and also just like share with you guys, the 5 things that I recommend to live your life by and to build up your Rolodex of relationships. So number 1 is to always be connecting. And what I mean by that is, you know, you never know who you're going to meet and where you're going to meet them. So always be open and always be connecting. So for example, if someone invites you to an event, or you know, maybe you are in line at a coffee shop and you are feeling social, strike up the convo. I've noticed this so much with LA. When I moved to LA and I didn't know a soul, and I would go to like a coffee shop, and if I thought someone was like I wanted to chat with someone, or I genuinely liked their outfit or something, I would just say something. It's so crazy when I actually make the first move all the time when I'm connecting, and it's wild who I meet. Let me do an example of today. I was in Soho and I had 10 minutes to grab a matcha before I had my hair appointment, and I was like, I'm gonna go to my favorite place, Happier Grocery, and I'm gonna get a matcha. So I'm in line. It's very busy because it's New York Fashion Week, and this girl in front of me in line had the coolest outfit. Like, she just looked rad, and everyone's in town from Fashion Week. She started talking to someone, and I heard her Aussie accent. I was like, sick. This person's just a vibe. Like, I feel like I would talk to her, and I don't know what happened, but I like struck up a combo, and I was like, you must be a model, or what did I say? I was like, you must be a model or a stylist. And she started laughing, and she was like, oh no, you're close though. I'm a designer. And then I was like, oh yeah, makes sense. Like, your outfit's amazing. And then, yeah, that easy. And then I was like, this line's really long, isn't it? And then she was laughing, and we just started talking the whole line. And then we ended up exchanging Instagrams and connecting over mutual. This convo just evolved so quickly, and I do this all the time, and I love chatting with people. So I feel like my convos can go from 0 to 100 in the span of 60 seconds. And long story short, She's dope. She's the founder of PE Nation, which is like an athletic wear brand that I love. She's like creative director of another really insane fashion brand. And I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to butcher the name. And I'm like, wow, we just became friends. We gave each other, we passed numbers, Instagrams, and that was just a connection I made from just being really friendly in a coffee shop. But like, I could not tell you the hundreds of people I've met through doing that. And I also will say that I've done this, and I've also had people not be very warm to receive that, and that is totally cool. It is totally cool about that as well. But when you play the side of like, oh, well, they might not just be friendly, or no, I don't want to, like, because if you're not in the mood, that's one thing, but if you're in the mood, then you got to do it. If you get in the mindset of like not doing it from the one person who was salty, the thing is, it's like you block your blessings on all the people who would well receive that. So always be connecting. Also, side note to that, whenever I've not wanted to go to like a lunch, a dinner, an event that I was invited to or on guest list for, sometimes when I rally and I get myself in the mood and I go, or if I'm like, I should just get yourself in the mood and go for an hour. It is wild sometimes that it's always that event that you meet someone who's a crazy connection of the thing that you weren't going to go to. And two little riffs on that. One of my clients and my really good friends, he's like a best friend to me, is David Guillaume. He was on the podcast a while back. I'll link his episode below because it's such a good episode. He always says that to me whenever he doesn't want to go to an event. It's the event he should go to, because when he goes, a miracle happens, a synchronicity happens. And I also will just caveat this point and say, keep continuing to strengthen your self-awareness within yourself, because I also totally get being someone in my industry, there's an event every night. There's a dinner every night. And sometimes I do have to know when to say no, because when I can't show up my full self, my best self, I'm probably doing a disservice if I go. So I might as well just rest. So it's also like, it's a weird line it's a weird dance. It's like you got to know when to push it, but you also got to know when you can actually take a beat and chill and look after you. So it's like a weird, you're probably like, Ayesha, what the hell is this thing that you're saying? Or do I rally or do I not? I think it's knowing yourself enough to know when you need to, but also trusting that if you are going to go, you go. And I'm big on leaving events while I'm still fresh, because if I am pushing it, I will know, like tonight, it's New York Fashion Week. I have 3 events. 3 events all in the span of like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Like it's wild in New York. And I might Irish goodbye around 11 p.m. tonight. You know, we don't know, but I might do that because I know that if it hits like a certain time, I might just be fully tanked and it'll just hit me. So that self-awareness is key. Number 2, be genuine and sincere in your approach. Whenever you are connecting, go into it being so genuine and sincere. Like, don't go into it with an ulterior motive of like, oh, I want to connect with this person because they're a designer and I'm building my brand and I want this, or they're an influencer and I'm working on this and I want to collab with them. No. Genuinely do it because you want to get to know this person and genuinely build this relationship. When you put all those like also people can smell those ugly motives. They can smell them, and it actually makes you like repel, I think, the opportunity in the relationship. But when you just genuinely want to connect with someone, like I didn't know if this lady earlier was, I don't know, like I didn't know her story, and I just genuinely was like down to just chat with her. And then along the lines, like after we got to the exchanging info part, then I like saw it because it was like in her bio on Instagram. But like the thing is, just be genuinely wanting to connect. A side note on always being connecting that I want to say is what I love to do, and what I did when I moved to LA especially, is if you don't live in an environment where you're physically like in that space, what I will do is I will go on Instagram and I will find new people that I want to build relationships with, and I will be very genuine and sincere in my message, and I will shoot my shot in the DM. And I will just like, I on my 4th point it kind of goes into how to write this message, but I will be super genuine and authentic, and I will find people that I want to connect with, and when I'm writing them a message, it'll be personal. I'll hit on the warm mutuals we have, I'll hit on something I see in their branding or something that I'm like seeing that they're really passionate about, and it will be genuine. It's like, if I actually mean it, I will say it. And whenever I send these messages to like expand my network and to meet new people in the space who I want to learn more from or just genuinely form this relationship with, it's always well received. So being really genuine and authentic in your approach when you're connecting with them, when you're outreaching to people via social media, via at a coffee shop, at an event, like be so genuine with it, because people can feel that energy. Number 3 is add value and always be of service. One of my daily prayers is, and also how I go into every meeting, how I set intentions for the day, is like, how can I serve this person? How can I serve the world at my highest and best capacity? I ask my angels, my guides, the universe to use me as a vessel to give more to others and just give. And when I'm in the morning, I was saying this in another episode, I am like going through a lot where I need energy. I will pray for energy. I'm like, give me the energy so I can serve. Like, give me the energy because I need it, because I want to serve at my highest and best, and I want to serve everyone I meet with that same 10 out of 10 Ayesha. So give me the energy so I can do so. And when you approach every meeting that you go into with this, how can I serve versus like, what can I get? Oh my God, it changes everything you get back. When I'm in New York, I do a lot of these meetings because I'm here for like a short time. So I can have like eight coffee meetings a day, which is wild. Like 30 minutes, walk to the next one, 30 minutes, walk to the next one, an hour, walk to the next one. Then I'll go to like a dinner, and then I'll go to an event. It's like wild time for connecting. But every person that I'm with, this is why I feel like I burn out from New York, because every person that I'm with, I go into that meeting with the intention of like, what are you working on? What's lighting you up right now? How can I add value? How can I serve? Because I know I can serve them, especially with my work and what I do. I know my areas of value, and I know that I'm a connector. So I already know I'm going to go into this meeting and I'm going to have like 10 to 20 people I can intro them to and like what I can do to support. And then I also go a step further. You don't have to do this, but I make an Excel, and I have everyone's like info, their brand, and I like will write in like areas that they're focused on. I do this from a work landscape on this note. It's like, if it was a work meeting, I will like, or if they're even just like anyone I'm connecting with truly, but like on the Excel, it's like their work vision. So I'm like, okay, Alex is passionate about this. She's working on building this brand. This is what she's working on for the next 3 to 6 months to a year. Okay, got it. Alex, this is what she's doing. And I like connect the dots and put it in an Excel. And it's wild. I'm like very methodical about it, but it's how I can serve. Because then I know like, okay, this person's really hype about this. This is how I can serve them. And when you switch, like someone might be listening and be like, well, then how can they serve me? Well, when you switch the landscape of how can I serve them, trust me, God, the creator of the universe, will look after you always. And point 5 that I'm going to say, you're going to think it's going to kind of come back, because it always comes back. And never give with the expectation of receiving from someone, but just give without the expectation. And I tell you, you will always be rewarded and blessed with so much more. Point 4 is to put yourself out there in social media and start to brand yourself. If you are someone who's looking to build connections and be someone who has this like crazy network of relationships, this goes with in person too, but I really riffed on that in the first point, but particularly on social, because I think a lot of people, not everyone lives in a major city, or even if you are, like, I'm huge on using social media, and then because I live in a major city, maybe they do too, and then it's way easier to meet for coffee or lunch or something like that, or we cross paths at an event because we're in the same industry. So when you start to brand yourself a little bit on social and you start to leverage your social media. I feel like social media is like today's LinkedIn. Like your Instagram, you can see instantly when you see someone's page, like you can see what they do, you can see what they're maybe really passionate about because maybe it's what a lot of their posts are about. You can see your mutuals, and the mutuals is actually the key. I honestly feel like, when you meet someone and you go on social, the first thing people look at is the mutuals. And they're like, "Oh, you know so and so? How do you know so and so?" And whenever I meet someone and I look at the mutuals, I'm always looking for the most interesting one. And usually there's a crazy commonality and story of how they met, and that rapport goes through the roof. That relationship maybe went from like warm to like super warm and super abundant, and you can just skyrocket that rapport building instantly when you do like connect via social, and you can connect those dots instantly. So I know it's a curse sometimes, but it's also the biggest blessing when it comes to relationship building. And I know that people give social media a bad rap, but I also just like to view everything with the positive, and I have viewed that platform as such a positive, with leveraging it to build new relationships, connect with people, and then also learn about people. So if I'm going to someone, if I'm meeting with someone, or if I just connect with them at an event and then I want to connect with them more, or I'm reaching out to them, I can like get a hunch right away, like, oh, this person's a mom and they have a couple kids, and they or maybe this person is really a dog person because they have a highlight of their dog. Like, you just learn little things about people, and it's just nice because you can clearly see what they're passionate about. And I don't know, it just really, it's the little things like that make a difference. And even when you're managing these relationships, it's a great way of like staying top of mind, like through social. It's like when we all used to be on Facebook and you used to know when it was someone's birthday. It's like via social media, you can see big monumental moments in their life. And maybe when you are, re-nurturing, because relationships aren't just a one-time thing. It's checking in, nurturing the relationship and managing that relationship. It's checking in on their birthdays. It's, if they're going through a hard time and they did open up about it on social, and you just shoot them a nice text and check in on them. It's that constantly checking in and being there. That's a true relationship to me. It's not just like one and done. Social media does help. So if you build somewhat of a personal brand, a little goes along the way. I do highly encourage it for this whole conversation. And if you are someone who is looking to be be someone who wants to become a connector and be out there. And number 5 is, in this whole concept of like networking, connecting, is to be the connector. So I know we're shooting our shots and we're all about building our own network, but if you start doing this for other people, it's wild. People love the connector. So like part of me doing these events is because I love to connect people so much that I was just like, okay, I'm going to go through all this work and put on a big event where I can bring everyone together so everyone can connect in one space. And if I can nurture the space, curate the dinner, pay the investment to put on this event and put this whole thing on, then how fulfilling is that for me, that like I just birthed 100 new relationships or introductions, and all these people are people that I want to meet, but I'm just one person. So sometimes I'm like, I look at my phone and everyone like wants an intro to someone, and people will ask me a lot, and I'm down to do it. I'm just one person and I'm doing a lot of things, so it's hard to like get back to everyone or make everyone connect. So I started these events, but early on, like, and I still do this, I'm like constantly connecting so-and-so to so-and-so, and I'll meet someone and I'm like, oh, you need to meet so-and-so, and I'll just start doing these connections and intros. If obviously it's wanted on both sides, that's the other thing. Ask the person before you connect, because I get connected all the time right now and I'm not mad about it, but like it's nice sometimes when you do ask someone before you connect. So being the connector for others has been wild, because when you are the connectors, people naturally just like have you top of mind. They want to connect you. It's really weird how that works, but when you are the connector, people love the connector and will always want to connect you for things. It's wild how that works. So that is my 5th point. I wanted to get them all out in this episode. I didn't want it to be an hour. So I hope these points served. I'm going to recap them right now. Tip number 1 is to always be connecting. So put yourself out there. Go to the event you don't want to go to. Go talk to the person at the gym that you see every day that you think you would vibe with. Like, always be connecting. 2, be very genuine and authentic in your approach. Just be genuine. Be the you that you are. Number 3, always add value and be of service. Ask, how can I serve? When you add value, you will have a forever relationship and not a transactional relationship. Number 4, put yourself out there and start to brand yourself on social media if you can, if it applies, if you feel called to. I do recommend it. It helps a lot. And number 5, be a connector. People love the connector and will always continue to connect you, but yeah, be the connector. Look where you can connect the dots. And also, it is so fulfilling when you do this. Okay. I am so grateful for you being here today and for you listening to this podcast. And if you got value today from this week's episode, it would mean the world if you can give us a rating and review on whatever platform you were listening on. It helps this podcast grow so much. And I didn't realize until I realized, and that's why I'm mentioning it here. So if you are a part of the family and you have not done so, take 2 seconds, give us a rating, and let us know what you think. And also, if you are not already connected with us on social, at Coffee and a Good Vibe on social media, on Instagram, that is where we announce our events. So if you are wanting to, come meet great people, I'm going to be doing a lot more events for Coffee and a Good Vibe, and there's just a lot to come with this podcast. So at Coffee and a Good Vibe on Instagram, of course, being subscribed to this podcast, but also following along on there is the best way to stay connected with all of our events and all of our community things that we have in the pipeline. Okay, I'm sending you all the love wherever you are at, and I will see you in the next one.